so cut to air traffic will be carried out in increments and will only increase heading into next week. Air traffic will be reduced by 4%. That is happening today, jumping to 6% by Tuesday, 8% by Thursday, and 10% by Friday. What could go wrong? All of this as a new report says that airlines are putting pressure on the government to reopen now. An airline industry lobbying representative telling Politico that, quote, "We're in a new world." The Airline Pilot Association president says that leaders must, quote, "find a way to end the shutdown now." And one of the CEOs of one of the top airlines is demanding a, quote, a clean CR bill. It's all it would take, he says. Here's Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy on that this morning.
The airlines have been good partners. They don't love this. They're going to lose millions of dollars because of this. It's challenging for them to take down flights. And to those passengers that are upset, listen, call your Democrat senator. 14 times they voted no to open up the government.
Can you talk about the morale of the air traffic controllers right now? Obviously, long hours, they're not coming to work, unpaid the last couple of weeks. What's the morale like?
So, listen, you don't get paid. You're stressed about paying for your families, food on the table. There is stress, you know, and we see that. They're not happy. But you know what? Most of these men and women are great professionals. We do have the best controllers, and they work really hard, and they care deeply about keeping Americans safe through our airspace.
Okay, so, I mean, Guy, I'm looking at this situation right now, and I don't know how it can't just get worse. So, I mean, Democrats could end this right now, right? Pass a clean CR, and I mean, things would open back up, and people would be able to fly again.
Yeah, they could have ended this anytime for 38 days. There's no point to this. This is a ridiculous partisan stunt, basically, to show a limited number of voters that Democrats are fighting Donald Trump. But at what cost? I've now had, because I work in this business, friends, family calling me every day, "Hey, do you think Thanksgiving is going to really happen? Should I cancel my flights?"
And what do you tell them?
I don't know what these Democrats are going to do. It seemed like they were moving towards some kind of a deal. And then there was a headline in Axios yesterday that Democrats are emboldened by their wins in the elections this week, so they might keep this going. And by the way, I would just note that when you're emboldened to continue your shutdown, it is, in fact, your shutdown. Because the Democrats, while inflicting all of this pain needlessly, are also ludicrously trying to blame Republicans, which is not the case. Democrats, 5 more of them in the Senate, need to vote yes on a clean CR and put an end to this.
Yeah, because
38 days is absurd.
There are many Republicans, Cheryl, that are acknowledging that Democrats may just be that emboldened after Tuesday's elections. There are serious implications, economic implications to this shutdown.
Even at the beginning of this week, the hit to the travel industry alone was $4 billion. The overall economic hit is far worse right now because it's not just airlines, it's also cruise companies, it's people that work in small businesses that are related to whether it's the airline industry or the airports, et cetera. And at this point, these air traffic controllers, I mean, they may be your Uber driver today, for all we know. They're trying to pick up side hustles because they can't pay for, they've got, you know, kids to pay for and gasoline. The other thing is, you mentioned, you know, going into the Thanksgiving holiday. Right now is a heavy time for cargo, right? You may not know this, but when you're flying on a plane, there's likely cargo underneath that the airline is making money for to carry. Well, they're not going to have that going either. That's leading into Christmas because all the Christmas items that need to be out there and distributed. There's so many things to this. The other thing I will say, though, too, is I couldn't believe the CEO of Frontier. He says he's telling his passengers, buy a backup ticket on another carrier that departs after your first ticket. Not a big vote of confidence, everybody, from the CEO of Frontier.
I mean, Tommy, there's no doubt passengers all over the country are frustrated by this. Some people are so thankful if they hear that their local airport is not affected yet by this, but that may soon be coming near them. This is the TSA Administrator, Adam Stahl, on the delays, and it's a message to those who are traveling as they make their ways through the airport.
We would just ask individuals to please be respectful of the checkpoint, please go early. And please be patient with our TSA officers. They're doing the best they can, again, under difficult circumstances. We're concerned as the as the days continue, and as the weekend comes, we're afraid, we're concerned this is going to get worse.
Will Thanksgiving at least be a deadline for both parties to hash this out?
Well, it really isn't both parties, right? To Guy's point, it really is just the Democrats. And like you, I am so frustrated when I go on social media and I see all these Democrats, whether in the House or the Senate or pundits, saying, if your flight is canceled, blame Republicans. And it's amazing to me that they could gaslight the American people, that they think we're that stupid, that the people who are purposely voting to keep it closed or not voting to open it are the ones saying this is a Republican problem. And to your point, Guy, the fact that they're on such a sugar high, because they won in deep blue New York City with their socialist candidate, the fact that they're emboldened by that, the fact that they now think that that's representative of the rest of this country is so ridiculous to me. And it shows how tone deaf they are and how removed from your everyday American that maybe don't live in New York City, D.C., Chicago, Los Angeles. Maybe they live in the middle of the country, you know, those flyover states. And I say flyover states because those of us in those states would sure like to fly. Those people are very fed up with this, and they don't take it as a hoorah for Democrats because they got a socialist in New York City, right?
Yeah, and to that point, Secretary Duffy was making the point, Lisa, that even when they do turn things back on, okay? So say something happens in an hour or tomorrow and they open things back up, these workers don't just come back online tomorrow. They don't just come back to work tomorrow. This is going to take time to get the system moving again.
Yeah, and he's doing everything he can to keep flying safe during this time. And that's what's at risk here, and that's what's not being pointed out enough. I mean, you go back to January, 67 people died in that midair crash over Ronald Reagan Airport. So that's what he's trying to prevent here. But the pain is the point for the Democrats. They've told us this. I mean, you have the House Minority Leader, Catherine Clark, told us that this gives them leverage. You had Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said every day gets better for them as this goes on. So they're okay with the pain. But the Guy is right that what this is about, it's not about the beefed up Obamacare subsidies. This is about feeding a rabid base. I mean, you go back to that Axios article in July. Do you guys remember what the grassroots were telling House Democrats? That they wanted blood, that civility wasn't working, that there was going to have to be violence, that they would have to be willing to get shot to appease the grassroots. And then what happened in Virginia? They elected attorney general who talked about wanting to shoot a Republican leader in the head, also see his two kids, young kids, killed, and then wanted to urinate on the graves. So that's what the Democrat Party is working with right now. That's their base. The last thing I'll add is even looking at the beefed up Obamacare subsidies, they were always supposed to be temporary. And they were recently extended in the Inflation Reduction Act, which, by the way, was never about inflation. We were lied to about that as well. It was about climate funding.
By the way, if you're a member of the traveling public and you are getting on a plane, overworked and demoralized air traffic control is not ideal. Yeah. Maybe Democrats will actually be affected themselves by flight delays or cancellations. Maybe they don't care about the troops not getting paid or SNAP or anything like that. If a senator gets his flight canceled, maybe he changes his vote finally.
Yeah, but you make a really good point. Secretary Duffy has been talking about how low the morale is, and you know, these air traffic controllers who are working, they're tired, they're fatigued. It's a lot. And we hope this situation improves. We're going to ask Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. He's going to be joining us top of the next hour on America Reports. We'll get the news straight from him as it happens.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.